You ready? That was pathetic. I'll do better. With the exception of the first and second slide and the 3 slides at the end, this is true. I have not seen this presentation. What I did is I wrote a creative brief. I sent it to a bunch of creative professionals, maybe 15 of them, and I asked each one to make me a slide for this. That slide was to portray creativity or inspire creativity. And I'm going to present those slides and do the best job that I can weaving some sort of story together. And if it has anything to do with creativity, then you'll know that I'm on track, right? It's a messy thing, creativity. You don't know what direction you're going to go in when you start. You don't know what direction you're going to end up in. Maybe it's where you started, maybe it's not. I think it's a willingness is what this message speaks to. The willingness to things up, like I'm doing, right? Imagination, right? Imagination is definitely key. It's part of it. You know, again, maybe if there's a common theme on slide 2, it's that you don't know what you're going to do. You don't know what you're going to say, right? Ironic. You don't know what's going to happen, right? You got to read a lot of books. Take with you life's lessons, right? Whether fictional, whether true, weave them into the work that you do, right? That's how we together are going to create a future that's of our own making, okay? This is true. You know, reaction time, right? The things that we say, the things that we do, the things that we portray, the things that we share with people, you don't know necessarily the effects it's going to have on them, but you have some control maybe over the immediacy of that message because the attention span is like this, right? It's like that. When you have exhausted all possibilities, remember this, you haven't. This is true. I prove that every day to myself, which is the only person I really have to prove that to, right? Take risks. Okay? Drink wine. Look at things upside down. Right? Pretend your house is the color that it isn't. Right? Because if you can imagine it, it might become true, and you'll be responsible for making that true. You. The beauty of a blank page. The difficult time in the creative process is when you're here. Right? You're looking at nothing. Nothing. Unfortunately, sometimes fortunately, it's your responsibility to work with others to turn that into something great, right? Something sculptural, something that takes more than a couple seconds to understand what it is. You can come up with some kind of story that seems like you may have planned it a little bit in advance, even though you haven't. You have no idea how to make anything of it. Beautiful tension. Tension is fighting with the people that you work with, not physically, right, but mentally, okay? Make a mess. Again, this is true. Creative made this, right? Make a mess. Things up, right? Put it back together, but find people that are of like mind to help you put those things back together. Interpret the same thing in 26 different ways, in 20 different ways. One of them will be correct, right? Actually, no, none of them will be correct. Because in the creative world, there is no freaking correct. It's completely subjective, which is how I can get away with this, right? People get mad at me all the time. Sometimes they tell me 1% of the time, but 99% of the time I can tell that they are. People are upset with me maybe because I'm too direct, maybe because I say the things that are on my mind. I mean well. That's a true message to those that I work with and those that I don't because of the way that I act sometimes, right? Ignite shit, right? We're all doing this today, right? Yeah, that was easy, right? Make something out of nothing. Make something out of nothing. Great things never come from comfort zones. This is true. This is true. Challenge yourself, right? Find ways to make yourself uncomfortable. Find ways to make the people you work with, not physically, but mentally uncomfortable. Maybe physically uncomfortable if that makes them mentally uncomfortable. That'll get great things. That'll make great things to happen. That'll create sparks. That'll create rainbows. That'll create unicorns. That'll create beauty, undescribable, right? Ideas that you can't put into buckets, okay? Ideas that you can maybe translate into the things that you have to figure out answers for at that time, right? You went on this discovery with me. This is part of my purpose, I guess, of doing this, if there is one, is that typically the presenter is taking the audience on a journey. At this point, I'm going on that journey with you, right? Live, trying to make sense of this shit. Psychology. If I seemed nervous to you, you would get a little bit scared for me. That would affect how you were reacting to this presentation. If I sound excited, you're going to be excited. You're going to be at ease because my level of comfortability seems a little bit higher, right? So if there's one message for you, it's that feel no pressure when there's reason to feel the most. Because that's when you're going to be able to do the best job that you can, and that's when you're going to raise the game for the people and the level of workmanship of the people that you work with. Thank you very much.